Welcome to the Jaron Jarvis channel. I am Jaron Jarvis. Today, I would like to introduce to you, Haunted Apartment Elevator. I used to live in an old 4-story rental building where the most modern feature was the small elevator that only fit about 3 people comfortably. The common areas were paneled in faux wood veneer, the carpet was heavily stained, the lighting was dim, and there was a pervasive smell of musty baby powder everywhere. Most of the other residents were middle-aged or elderly with varying degrees of mobility, so I rarely ran into other people. This suited me just fine as I'm terrible at small talk and the relative privacy was appreciated, especially on laundry day. I had just finished starting up a new load of clothes and was heading back up to my 3rd-floor apartment with my laundry basket in hand. Since I wasn't planning on going outside that day, I wore my typical laundry day ensemble, light hoodie, shorts, and flip-flops. The air in the building was always warm and stagnant. That day I specifically remember looking out the window to a bright, sunny day with no wind, which of course made the indoor temperature even higher. I stepped onto the elevator and pressed the button, waiting for the door to close at its typical sluggish speed. Then at the halfway point, it jolted open. Most elevators built within the last 10 years have a safety sensor on the door jamb, so when an object blocks it or it sees movement, the doors open. This obviously prevents the classic horror trope of people being crushed as they try to board. However, there was no one else in the hallway, just me, and I had already stepped fully inside the elevator. That was weird. I figured it was probably a malfunction. I pressed the button again and the door closed. But as the elevator began to rise, I was suddenly overcome with the distinct feeling that another presence was with me. I felt a wall of cool air move slowly over me, engulfing the right side of my body as if some invisible mass was starting to overlap the space in which I stood. My legs were bare, but it did not feel like a normal draft of air at all. Plus the building was always so warm that a cool breeze was really rare unless you stood beside the front door. I'd never felt a cold spot before that day, but it was exactly like other people describe, a chilly wall engulfing you, and feeling the presence of another person. I shuffled aside. There wasn't much room in the elevator, but I had arrived at the 3rd floor. The door opened and I mumbled sorry as I moved past the cold spot, then rushed down the hallway toward my apartment, glancing over my shoulder as I went. After fumbling with my keys while also trying not to drop the bulky laundry basket, I opened the door. Down the hall I heard the elevator close again as I slipped inside and locked the deadbolt behind me. That same day I posted a version of this story on r/nosleep, but it eventually got deleted for being too short. It's been at least a year since then. Now that I've had plenty of time to review what happened, I can say with certainty that the elevator entity didn't feel threatening. It was just really jarring to feel a ghost crowd into my personal space. Or maybe I was in their personal space and didn't realize. I've long since moved out of that building, so I don't have any more incidents to talk about, but I'm glad that my encounter was so benign. Has anyone else had a similar experience with apartment ghosts?